Welcome back, trainers. So with Heatran taking off on the 15th, that is just a couple more days. What can we see coming into the legendary raids next? Because we just had Giratina, Cresselia. Could we possibly see, oh my gosh, I know, Regigigas? I really would hope not, but it is a possibility. Or are we going to finally see the return of Groudon and Rayquaza in their shiny variants? Because I was talking to some trainers, and they were saying that, they weren't around for those when they were here because they just kind of got into the game last summer. So they need those Pokemon. Not only that, but it's been so long ever since they were actually in the game. Why release Kyogre in a shiny variant and then leave out Groudon and Rayquaza? So what can we possibly see? Well, let's go ahead and go over this to see what we have. And yes, I do have that jacket. I finally was able to get 200 Ultra Battles, and I'll have a montage of that later so you can see. And I'm not going to have any commentary, I'm just going to have the battles with some of the trainers that I was doing that with there. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the news, because that is going to show us when we can expect a new legendary raid. So Heatran is taking off on the 15th of January at 1 p.m. PST. Alright, so we can expect something by then. Now, if we go up here, we have the Phoebus deal happening on the 19th, okay? And then if we see the Totodile Community Day, that is going down on the 12th. And here's my Heatran collection before we continue on here. These are all going to be weather boosted except for that very bottom 96, so pretty happy about that. 98%, 15, 15, 14, and even a 96, 13, 15, 15, and they're all pretty good after that, okay? So I'm pretty stacked on those. Don't need any more Heatran. The only reason why I'm going out and doing them is because I do need charge TMs. Very dire because of PvP, right? So got to get out there and still raid. So let's go ahead and jump into the new Pokemon that we can possibly expect as our next legendary raid, just as speculation. First up is going to be the Lake Trio, because during the last holiday event, they did drop this image with them sitting right in the middle there, even with the Abomasnow taking a look at them like, hey, what's going on? And we did receive Munchlax, Chingling, Krogunk, and Skorupi, so we can only expect these are going to be coming very soon. Now, they did drop some other legendary raids like Heatran, so who knows what is going to really happen here, but they did put them in the image, so that is something to take note of. We've been over their stats many times, so I think we can skip out on that this time. We'll go over some other legendary stats here in just a moment. So I don't know which one they're going to release first. Maybe it's going to be kind of like the legendary beast dog trio, and they're going to migrate every whatever period of time through the continents. Well, only time will tell, but they're definitely in this image and probably coming very soon to Pokemon Go. Okay, so first legendary that could make a return, but don't get your hopes up, but it's just a possibility, and fingers crossed, because like I said earlier, so many people that I talk to say that they don't have Groudon. It's surprising me because it's so good and you should have one on your team. And I'm not saying, oh, you should have one, what's wrong with you? But I mean, they need to make a return so they can catch him, right? It's going to be a pure ground type with a max CP of 4,115 with an astonishing attack of 270, defense 228, stamina 205. So as you can see, Groudon is a magnificent Pokemon as far as stats go. It doesn't have, I wouldn't say the best movesets. It doesn't have the worst either. They're all going to be a single charge bar move. But when you're doing raids or when you're doing gyms, I guess, more so of raids, they're going to be quite useful, and you don't really need to worry about those double charge moves. Especially for PvP, they're just, don't use them. I mean, you can, but they're not hard to beat. It's going to be week 2, grass, ice, and water, resisting electric, poison, and rock. Alright, and it does have a pretty diverse moveset here when we look at it for coverage. So you could have some problems going up against it. So Mudshot and Dragon Tail for the quick moves, and then Solar Beam, Earthquake, and Fire Blast for the charge. So it's weak to water, right? So that's one of the main things you would want to use. That and grass. So it does have Fire Blast to cover those grass Pokemon, and it also has Solar Beam to cover those water types. So Kyogre would obviously be your best Pokemon to go up against Groudon if it did have Earthquake or Fire Blast. If it did have Solar Beam, highly recommend you go in there with grass type Pokemon because, well, you're going to be resisting that and doing a decent amount of damage depending on what Pokemon you're using. Venusaur with the Community Day move, possibly your Roserade or Sceptile, any other grass type Pokemon. Alolan Exeggutor or the regular Exeggutor. You can get creative there. So the counters are not going to be so difficult. You just have to look out for when you enter the lobby, and that's a big indicator. If it's giving you all water type Pokemon, more than likely it's going to have Fire Blast or Earthquake. And anything else, it's going to be different. I'm not too sure what it's going to recommend for the Solar Beam ones. It might give you grass type Pokemon, but maybe Agrons. that's a joke. Okay. So yeah, the counters are not going to be so difficult there. Okay. So there you have Kyogre and its moves. Hopefully that'll be making a return because this is fantastic and was the best counter to go up against Heatran itself. So personally myself, I have 2 maxed out ones and a couple weather boosted, and that was making it so we were able to go around and duo it with just the 2 of us. Now you can duo it without Groudons, of course, but you know, sometimes you may not have the weather boost that you need, or your friend that you're raiding with may not have the Pokemon exactly to counter it. So those Groudons really help pick up the slack. We have Rayquaza, the one that we've been waiting for, Rayquaza, however you like to say it. We want this shiny. Niantic, if you're watching, we want this shiny. We're going to start a riot. No, I'm just joking. But hey, it would be great because it looks awesome. Not to mention, it's just so strong. And when it comes down to PvP, yeah, this is actually, couldn't it be useful in the Master League, I suppose, to some degree. Has an extremely high attack and a great moveset. So it's going to be a Dragon and Flying type. Max CP at 100% IV, 3,835 attack. Now, wow, 284. That's just absolutely massive. Defense 170 and stamina 213. Oh boy. All right. So we have week 2, Dragon, Fairy, Ice, and Rock. So it's going to be extremely weak to Ice because it is going to be Dragon and Flying, both of those types being weak, well, to Ice. Resisting Grass, Ground, Bug. Fighting Fire and Water. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and look at the moveset so we can see. Air Slash and Dragon Tail. So remember I was talking about how this is going to be the best option for flying type Pokemon. Well, at least for damage output. So because you have Air Slash and then Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is only going to be 33 energy. That is pretty good. So Rayquaza is another one of those Pokemon that can defend itself to some degree against its weaknesses. One being Dragon itself with Dragon Tail and Outrage, because Dragon types are going to be doing a lot of damage to this. But your number one option is going to be Ice. And Ice is also weak against Rock types. So depending on your dual typing for that Ice type Pokemon, you may just be taking super effective damage from that continuously happening Outrage. And if you're considering dodging, well, I wouldn't even try it because you're just going to probably get Shadow Hit. More than likely. I mean, you can dodge when you have green health and almost full. But if you try to do any other dodging once you're, I don't know, close to the yellow or mid-yellow, don't do it because it's just going to take away that health and you're going to be stuck there. My point being, Ancient Power is going to be a great move for it because it can defend itself against those Ice-type Pokemon. I will be having the counters on the side here that I have in my personal collection. So yeah, Rayquaza is looking fantastic. We just want this to come back really bad as a shiny form. That black color just looks so awesome. So hopefully we can see this coming soon. And by the way, I will be leaving a link in the description to GoHub's website so you can check out all these stats yourself here. So we have Regigigas, the one and only that everybody's been waiting for so badly. You know, forget Rayquaza, forget Groudon, forget the Lake Trio for that matter, and give us Regigigas. That is a joke. Please no. Gonna be a normal type here. So yeah, it's gonna have, you know, one weakness, and we'll go over that here in a second. Have an attack of 287, defense 210, and stamina 221. So it's gonna be a normal type. It's just gonna be weak to fighting. Simple enough. And resisting Ghost. Very good. So this is not going to take long to go over it. Now, let's see its moves because I am not too familiar here. Zen Headbutt and Rock Smash. So looks like the fighting types have a little something to look out for regarding that. Zen Headbutt there. Then we have Stone Edge, Heavy Slam, and Avalanche. So if it did have Stone Edge, the fighting type Pokemon are going to be looking primo because they're going to be resisting that. Then you have Heavy Slam, a 2-charge bar move, and then Avalanche as well as a 2-charge bar move. So those are going to be continuously happening, wearing down your health. So, doesn't look so threatening whatsoever. The only thing fighting type Pokemon have to look out for is Zen Headbutt, which shouldn't even be that big of a problem. If anything, it's just going to charge your energy so you can get off more dynamic punches onto that Regigigas. And yes, Machamp with counter dynamic punch, Hariyama counter dynamic punch, Lucario counter Focus Blast, Blaziken, Breloom counter dynamic. All the fighting type Pokemon that you know are good are going to be those counters, okay? So there you have it. Fighting types are going to be key. If you don't have fighting types, I mean, use whatever you want, I suppose. That's not weak to these typings here, but you're better off just using those. If you don't have a 6-pack of Machamps, just put whatever you can and see what happens there. So there you have Regigigas. People are speculating this is to be coming. What do I personally think? It's a possibility. I mean, we saw Giratina, Cresselia, and now possibly we could see this because what's next on the list is Regigigas. So I'm having my fingers crossed for the Lake Trio, but if we do receive this one, I don't really care. It is what it is. We'll have the possibility of Palkia and possibly Dialga, but we'll see. If they come out, then we'll go over the guides. I've already made plenty for those, so we don't need to go over those again. So there you have it, trainers, the possible legendaries coming to the raids in the near future. And it looks like we have a little Pachirisu on the nearby. Look at that, man, they keep on spawning there. I wonder if there's like a nest. Anyways, a new wave of EX passes did go out. I did not receive one, and I actually went to a specific EX eligible gym and did about 13 raids. So, not sure why I didn't get one, but I'm not too concerned about it. So anyways, trainers, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy this video, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care. And one more thing before we go, they're still here. Look at this. This is hilarious. So I don't have a buddy. Look at that. I don't know what's up with Staraptor, but it's way back there. I wonder if they can fix that and scoot it up. Anyways, now I'll catch you all later. Take care, trainers.